Hey guys, David Meilan here, Director of Investor Relations with Nighthawk Equity. One of the most fascinating concepts to me in all of real estate investing is the concept of infinite returns. The concept that passive investors still get cash flow distributions based on their initial investment in a given property, yet they've already had the majority of their capital returned to them. Drew, would you mind breaking this down a little bit more for investors?
Yeah, no problem, David. And this is a fun topic to talk about because it's one of the coolest things about real estate investing. And the idea behind infinite returns is that you have, one slug of money, call it $100,000, and you get to recycle it an infinite amount of times and use it over and over again, right? So you invest money into a deal, and then over time, for reasons that I think we'll get into in a few seconds, we're able to return that money back to you. But even though we brought the money back to you, you still have ownership in that apartment building, and you can get the benefits from that property appreciating, as well as use that money again on a second and a third and a fourth investment. So that's the infinite component of this type of investing.
Okay, so why do so many investors out there consider this investment tool to be so powerful?
Yeah, that's a great question, David. So the reason that infinite returns are so powerful is because you continue to have those funds work for you over and over again. And I'll give you an example of that. So on a syndication that I'm involved in, my father put in about $100,000. And about 24 months after we bought the property, we performed a refinance and gave investors essentially back all of the money they put in. So he got a $100,000 check back to him. And not being as deep into the weeds as you and I are in this industry, he said to me a few weeks ago, he said, "Hey, Drew, so I'm out of that deal, right? Because I got my money back." And I said, "No, you had the same exact ownership that you had in that deal before you put in 100K. But now you're net $0 into it and you still own it. You still benefit from the appreciation of that property, and you can use that money to invest again." And he actually looked at me like, I still don't understand how that's possible. And I said, that's why we love this industry, because you can take that same money and invest it over and over again.
Yeah, Drew, I think a lot of investors listening will find that very helpful, that explanation right there, just because it is such a challenging subject. Now, can we expect all Nighthawk investments to provide this opportunity to do a refinance and reap these infinite returns?
Yeah, the answer is every deal is unique. So we never say that the same thing is going to happen on every deal, but the vast majority of our deals do have this happen, and we do plan for it. So I'll give you a real life example of another Nighthawk deal. So there's one called Country View, 321 units in Memphis. And we bought it. And about 18 months later, we're able to refinance that property and reap the rewards of all the value creation that we got, and give investors 84% of their initial investment back. And that deal continues to perform really well. The value add strategy on that one continues. And so those investors have taken those funds. They said, "Wow, that was awesome. Let's do the next Nighthawk deal." So that's an example of one that we have done it on. I can think of another one where those investors that are in that deal, because we reduced their basis so much, they're now getting monthly distributions back that equal a 14% cash on cash return. So there's so many benefits to this infinite investing, and it's one of our favorite topics.
All right, Drew, appreciate the explanation. Now, for those listening, if you're interested in the concept of infinite returns and you want some projections based upon how much money you need to invest in order to get a certain amount of passive income, please feel free to check out Michael's passive income calculator by visiting www.themichaelblanc.com/getpic. Thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you. Bye.